All right, guys, back. Um, Hope you enjoyed last night. Shout out to everybody that joined. I don't know if y'all know, but history was made last night. I think we've been talking for I don't remember how many years now about Jix joining the a podcast of any sort, and it finally happened yesterday. So shout out to him. It was a great game between Miami and Minnesota. Had another fun, entertaining game between the Giants and the Ravens. So what a day, right? What a day. And then also first half of the power rankings are out. I posted them in the chat earlier, so take a look at those if you're catching up. And if you're not, we got about an hour and a half here. So we're gonna get right to part two. So let me go ahead and share the screen and let me not spoil anything. Actually, let me just I gotta put the Microsoft Word back up. 1 second. So in case you don't remember, I'll go over the 32 through 17 real quick. We had Tone, who obviously won't be 32 after in the next rankings, whenever those may be. But we had Tone. Oh, 1 second. We had Tone, JT, Jix, Edgar, B, Manny, Greg, Twan, Nick, Jose, Lions Jose, Maze, C's, Dez, Nako, Daryl, Bean, in that order, descending from 32 to 17. Or ascending, I guess. So let me start real quick. All right, so let's get back into it. Share the screen. Boom. And here we are. So this is where we left off, right? Before just the and all the time night on the Madden cast, and really on I think on any sort of podcast that we've had from the inception of the league until now. So here's the Mendoza line right here. If you're above that half, you got a little work to do. And if you're under it, you still have work to do, but at least you're in a slightly better position. So let's get right into it. Number 16. We're not going to waste any time. Another AFC competitor, and his name is Wilfredo. Now, Will is number 16 because of these reasons. He has Patrick Mahomes, obviously, with Kansas City, and also let me know, like, when I switch these screens from the Word doc to this, let me know if y'all can see that okay. But anyway, he has Kansas City, right? And at the start of the draft, or at the draft itself, I was not sure. I was not sure if KC would be the best fit for Will because Will has come up in the ranks of the league, and do it like this. 1 second. Will's come up in the ranks in the league, and he did a lot of it. Like most people, take this route. He did a lot of it by running the ball. I mean, he had two MVP seasons with Kareem Hunt, which is big because I'm one of the many people who've not had an MVP season at any point in this league, which is kind of crazy to think about. So when he took KC, he explained it when he was on last week, but when he took KC, I thought he would have took Dallas because it's ready-made, kind of like for his style, and it's his favorite team. But be as it may, he decided, I'm going to take the next step in my development, and I'm going to take a team that is, more potent through the air than on the ground. How was that going for him? Well, he started off tremendously against Mays. This game right here, I I think he said there was a field goal involved. He missed the field goal and like basically blew the game against Mark. Um, and it went into overtime and Mark won apparently. But then we had this one right here. This game versus Evan, week 3, was telling us like got work to do behind the pocket or in the pocket when you go in the pass. And I was like, and that's when I thought, I'm like, is he really ready to take on that type of role with KC? I didn't know. And the jury is still out, but he had a good game against my Heat, one that he had multiple chances to win. I'll put it like that. I'm not going to say one person should have won or the other person should have won, but I would say both players had multiple chances to win, and Will had his shots, and it was a good showing, and it showed what he could be, but still what he needs to improve upon. And then he played Nako. I heard Nako last night. He clarified a bit by saying his team had -10 morale for whatever went on in the sim against Denver. But, 35-14. Mahomes has had some pretty good games. Like he completed over 90% of his passes this game. He all of his passes this game. So let's look at Pat real quick, and then we'll move on because I realized yesterday doing 16 teams, it's kind of time consuming. There's a lot of. It took me about I think over an hour. So I know my time today, and we'll move a little quicker. But let's look at Pat. Now, understand that one of the chief judging metrics for me, and again, this is just me. If but also these are open to discussion as well. Like I'm merely putting the rankings out as I see it, but there are 31 other opinions in the league, and they're all valued. So if you see it a different way or have a different perspective, please join and offer that. So we look at Pat real quick. I believe all these games were played, so we don't have to. I don't think we have to take out anything simulation wise. But look at it. Okay. I'm looking at a strict touchdown interception ratio. You have 1-0, 2-3, 0-4. That just can't happen. That's unacceptable. 1-3, that's pretty unacceptable too. And then you rebound with 2-0. So okay, we add that up. There's 3, 6 touchdowns. And we got 3, 7, and 10 picks. And again, I'm looking like those are the type of things where I look at it and it's like, are you with what you have and where you picking the draft? Are you fulfilling those expectations based on the team? Because you should have a good team if you're picking early. And are you fulfilling those expectations relative to just how I guess I look at it just from how if I had these teams, how would I be doing? And I think that's fair. I think everybody can kind of assess their own game plan, know like if they're helping that team, that they're elevating their team, or if they're kind of bogging them down a little bit. And Will's 2-3, so he has work to do, and that's where I'll leave it. It's as simple as that. So next up, number 15, and this is where it gets tricky, right? This is where it gets tricky, and this is where I started to contemplate taking myself out of the rankings because this is where I contemplated taking myself out of the rankings because I know how I know my situation, my season with Houston. I know it pretty well. And the way I look at it, again, are you elevating? Are you playing lower than expectations relative to what you have? That's a big metric to me. So that's just another disclaimer as we get through this tricky part of these rankings because 15 through 9 is kind of crazy. But 15, I have a gentleman who we were just talking about briefly on Will's schedule. Mark with the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, for y'all who don't remember, Mark was the number 1 pick in this draft, right? Now let's go. Let's just get right into it. Let's go to a schedule. Well, let's see what he's done. Let's see why he is coming in at 15 at 3-2, right? Now, obviously, these are all through week 5. None of yesterday's games have any bearing on these rankings. Those will be incorporated in the next set, whenever that might be, probably week 11, 12, something like that. So anyway, but look at the guys. Look at these guys, man. Top players, all 5 of his top players are over 90, and we haven't even seen Justin Herbert yet, right? We haven't even seen Austin Eckler yet. So I mean, there's no JC Jackson right here. Like the team is loaded. Let's just call it what it is. The team is loaded, but here he is at 3-2, a game out of first place behind Broncos mark. So I'm looking at it from the standpoint though of I think Mark, and I think Mark could tell you this. I think Mark could be playing better. Let's look at it. Like week 1. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened there, but I was expecting. I know on swap selections I picked Mark to win, and I was shocked a little bit when I saw that score and I saw the way that Nico was, handling his business. We spoke on this game a little bit. Again, I didn't see much of it, but I know like the late game premise of it. Apparently, Will missed that kick and Mark did this thing in overtime. This was a sim, so Des was gone. Nothing to talk about here. This game here, personal experience. Again, like if you've seen the Houston Texans, all right, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of just from my team alone. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of I got to be perfect. I don't have the leeway, the rope that anybody really else in the league, maybe anybody. No, I was gonna say maybe short of like Ty, but Ty at least has Matthew Judon. He has at least one superstar. He has OBJ, right? So I would still contend that my leash is the shortest in the league. But though Mark won 21-7, we can go into it a little bit. We were up 7-3 at halftime, right? You look at Justin Herbert, his production compared to Cam Newton's production this game. The completion percentage is a bit higher, but with the Keenan Allens and the Mike Williams and the Austin Ecklers compared to the Brandon Cooks, the Brevin Jordans, the John Mechie's, right? Nico Collins, etc. It's fair to say that output should have been there should have been a greater disparity between these two quarterbacks in terms of where they are in their careers right now and the personnel that's around each quarterback. So I look at it from that standpoint, and then of course, the score is 21-7. One of my interceptions was a pick 6. So I look at it from that standpoint, and I'm looking like we were in the fourth quarter, right? We were well into the fourth quarter with a chance to win. We were down 6. And I explained this in the week 4 post-game press conference, but we're 13-7 with a chance to win, and the penalty took us out, and then from there we just didn't recover after that, the penalty on that RPO stretch. But it is what it is, and I just think I went away thinking all those factors. Khalil Mack, you see, he had 3 sacks against the worst. I would contend the worst offensive line in the league. But you still gotta go out there and win the game. So I'm not discrediting Mark with anything I'm saying here. I'm just giving you the details. So Khalil Mack had 3 sacks. Joey Bosa wasn't even there, but you still got Derwin James, you still got JC Jackson who had the pick or one of those picks. So I'm looking at it like we hanging though. So I look at it and I see, I'm like, dang, well, and I kind of knew this. I'll get into myself a little later. But I'm looking at it from the Chargers standpoint. I'm like, we got to turn up a little bit, because Justin Herbert, if we go back real quick, or if we go solely to him, Justin Herbert, he had 165 with 1 and 2 in this game. But look at this. This is why this is the context we talk about right here. So let's go to the game logs, right? Actually, yes, let's go to game logs. Okay, so boom. Here we go. 50% completions, 1 touchdown, 4 picks, right? Now, great completion percentage here, 3 touchdowns, but still 4 picks. This, again, this is Sim. This is Dez is out of town. Mark got the force win as he should have. But these, we don't incorporate these stats because, like he didn't physically do it like in a live game. So I'm looking at it from this standpoint of 3 touchdowns, no picks. I'm like, okay, but if you take that out, you have 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and then against Reggie the other day, you have 1 touchdown, 2 picks again. So we add all that up, and what do we have? We have 6 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Justin Herbert, right? I'm looking like we got to get in motion now. We gotta step it up a little bit, and that's why I constructively put him at number 15, because for him being the top pick and him being arguably the strongest team, his quarterback play, in my opinion, has held him back. And with all those the guys and the weapons on both sides of the ball, it's like you can absorb some of these interceptions, but still, I'm looking at it like if they fell into if somebody else hit the Chargers, will we be seeing these numbers? I would contend maybe not. Like, so that's where I'm at with it. I see. Let me see who's in the chat right now. I see who's the X Factor? Oh, wow. Durham will have his X Factor to start the game. Case in point, when you're the Chargers, these are the riches you get. An embarrassment of riches. But again, like the tape matters. The play matters. And I think Mark will tell you this. Mark has a ways to go as far as how he's been playing and where he could be playing. And that's where I have it. So he's 3-2. And I believe that's the first, well, besides being in the top half of the rankings, Mark is the first 3-2 team on this list. So here we are, number 15. That was Mark. Number 14, we just saw this guy play last night. And here we are, from the number 1 pick to the number 2 pick, from Mark to B, from Mark to Brandon, the Miami Dolphins. Now, we'll save the Jicks game, the Dolphins Vikings, the instant classic that was in the Madden cast, for another time. But even in that though, you'll see the tendencies. Like, let's just go to Miami's schedule. Let's go to Miami. Co-leaders of the AFC East. Well, entering week 6 they were. But now Ty has that lead because he hasn't played yet this week. I don't even know if he does play this week. Anyway, let's look at the schedule and let's delve into this. So boom. This game, now I remember, because again, I have to hold everybody accountable like I would myself. So I remember Brandon, he was confident, right? And rightfully so. Like, it's a good team. It's a good team. They're young in certain spots. A lot of their impact guys are young or squarely in their prime, like Tyreek Hill. And he has a good squad. Like, number 2 pick Miami is not bad at all this year. But juxtapose that to number 32 pick, Ty and the Patriots. And Ty came out, and this is what I was saying. Like, and this is what I think a lot of us felt coming to the season. Like, I saw it being a little later, but here we are. Ty is sitting here at this moment in first place in the division. And we all, I think most, if not all of us, kind of suspected that, Ty is probably the best user in this division. And it was an inevitability that he would win the AFC East. Now, he hasn't won it yet, obviously, but dare I say, he might be ahead of schedule. And it started with week 1 when he won against B. And then we had this game, and let's go to this. When Miami got blasted in Baltimore, we just call it what it is. And, it's okay, 2 or 3 touchdowns, 5 picks. Lamar didn't really need to throw much because when you get 52 points, when you average over 10 yards of carry running the ball, when you get 3 interceptions from a guy like Marcus Peters. Well, I mean, what more is there to do? I remember watching part of that game, and I was just like, he might be in trouble. But then he rebounded himself in a game that he needed to win. I called it the loser leaves town match. And you see what happened here. I mean, 9 picks. Whew. 9 picks by the Dolphins defense. I mean, he did whatever he wanted to in that game against Manny. And that got him on the upswing, right? Like it got him in gear. That sparked a 3-game winning streak. He won this game. Close game versus Darryl. I keep saying it. Darryl is going to be a nice trap game for those who, might not really see him on the radar. Like he's going to be a tough out in more weeks than not, I believe. I'm not saying he'll be like, a top player, but it's going to be tough. You got to play the games. You got to play the games regardless. And then we had a very nice win against Nick. Nick was, again, 6 picks, so he has to be more consistent. But when you get 6 picks, you're not going to win much. And credit B, because he did his thing, and Tua had a better game, had a better outing. So here we are. And then we had the game last night, but y'all saw that. And if you need to watch it again, just go back to last night's Madden cash around the 2.5 hour mark. It was like halfway through the show. So real quick, but I'm looking at it from B's standpoint. And this is what I wondered throughout, right? I wondered, I don't know what exactly Tua's numbers from last night. So we're just going through the end of week 5. And I was looking at it like, all right, I know B, he, at least in my mind, he kind of came to relevance in the league from what I saw in Madden 21 by him running the ball. Cam Akers, I remember he had some real good games with the Rams. But I always wondered, I remember like when he would be on, it would be running the ball, managing the game. When he would be off, it would be like the 4 interceptions per game, like the signs that we've seen a little bit of this game or this season. So got Mr. Brown coming in. So and don't forget Teddy's 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, because we're factoring that in too. Because he
going on, man.
I believe. What's up with you?
What you got going on?
I'm just talking about these teams. But look at Tua though. Like Tua, 5 touchdowns. 5 interceptions, 2 interceptions, 2 interceptions, 1 interception. 3, 2, 3. So you're getting a mixed bag. And for a 3-2 Dolphins team being ranked number 14 entering through the completion of week 5, what you see is kind of what you get. And he would probably tell you there's more work to do. I know he's probably hot after last night's loss still, but we'll see how he rebounds next week. I don't even know who he plays real quick.
Can't be hot after that loss.
That loss was crazy.
Can't be about that. You can't. Neither one of them could be hot.
Yeah, right. Honestly, yeah. So look at the next
loss. You can't be hot. If Brandon lost, you can't be hot. We saw the transaction in the 4th quarter. What happened?
Oh my goodness! Like, it's crazy. It was great for the show.
It was a good show, but you could only be mad at yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Y'all see his next 5 here. Got let me take the Vikings off. On week 7, Steelers, he should win that. Week 8, he should win this. Week 9, he should win. And then he has Reggie week 10 bye week, and then I go to Miami to see what the Dolphins are all about in week 12. So we'll see. But he's right in a prime stretch. He had every opportunity to get this game last night, but he didn't. So now it's on to Pittsburgh, and he needs to win these next 3. He needs to win the next 3. Simple and plain. Moving along. Also, Mr. Ron, if you want to chime in on any of these,
oh yeah, man. I'm here, man. I'm at the job, chilling, man.
Let's see who's next.
I've been chilling at work, man.
Yeah, I got a big game this week, man. Hour and a half before I gotta go in myself. So I'm gonna try to run through these real quick.
We got a big game this week, man. Week 6, man. Cowboys.
And I gave out a spoiler last night, so we're just going to put Evan there also. We'll talk about Flash and Evan, kind of not in tandem, but Flash number 13. Why is Flash 13? Well, let's go to a schedule and dissect it. Let's talk about why he's number 13 entering week 6. So again, Flash got his wish, right? Baltimore fell to whatever draft pick he was. I think it was number 16. And you can see it. It's a wealth of talent out here. Lamar at 88 might as well be 99 based on what he can do in this game. So look at it. I didn't know if him picking Baltimore was, I mean, outside of Lamar, it's like, is it conducive to what you're known to do? Maybe in spots. I didn't know Bateman was as fast as he is, but either which way, let's go to the schedule first. Losing week 1 to Nick and the Jets in a game again, kind of like last night, where both players had a chance to win it, and neither one could have been upset with themselves if they had lost. But he has to win that game. Better team, he has to win that game. He did win week 2. We talked about that earlier. Again, here we go. New England Patriots tie. Like, here we go. I've seen the efforts in New England, and he's not ranked yet because of said efforts. Meaning ties in the top 12 at minimum, and he won. You know, he again, great user on a not so great team can elevate. He elevated and he won. Flash rebounded versus Manny, who was winless at the time, and he got his first win last week. And then again, this 2014, Daryl was hanging, and he had his chances to win. But again, the interceptions, Flash eventually took advantage of them, and he won. And then you saw this game last night, which don't factor into these rankings. But Tone, who I had number 32, was a different Tone last night. So he'll be out of 32 by the time the next rankings come out. I can almost assure you of that. But we can look at a few of these. Like, let's look at this one first.
I feel like Flat. Remember we talked. This it's not the user, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like let's tell you, it's the user, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Ravens is a good team.
Everybody wants. Everybody's going to want the Ravens.
I feel like having Lamar makes people do Madden-esque things from old. But we got to realize Lamar, and like I said, we watched Flash game live last night. Shout out to Flash, but I think why Flash lost to Tone last night, because on paper the Ravens are by far better than the Giants.
Right.
User wise, Flash is a better user than Tone. But I think Flash tries to make Lamar do Patrick Mahomes type things with his arm when that's not a Lamar thing.
That's fair.
Not a Lamar thing. So now we see the interceptions that transpired last night from deep balls, because it wasn't like the passes were 10, 15, 20 yards. We're talking about 30 yards downfield. Lamar's not known for it. That's not a Lamar.
And Baltimore isn't built like that.
He's not built like that. Lamar is known for his legs and then his arm second.
Right.
Does he make good reads in real life? Yeah. But are they 30 yards downfield? No.
Right, exactly.
Because most teams, when they play Lamar in real life, they worry about the scramble. Like, they worry about Lamar's legs more than his arms. They'd rather him throw the ball than him run the ball. But when Lamar is on, Lamar is on. So I think just with Flash and his record, it shows it that he's trying to make Lamar above and beyond what Lamar's abilities are in the game. So
that's fair.
Especially with the loss with Tone last night.
Yeah, that's a bad loss. Like, I think he threw like 4 or 5 picks, something like that, and like a lot of them were just like those jump balls. Like, the Jordan Love over Marcus, or over Mark Andrews, like, and then it was bad. So like you're looking at like 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions entering that game versus Tone last night, and now I think he had like 1 passing touchdown. I could be wrong on that, but I know there were at least 4 interceptions. So again, I'm looking at it like, if I had this guy, what would I be doing? And I know, I wouldn't. That disparity wouldn't be there, and that's what I judge a lot of the metrics on.
It's hard because you want to play your play style.
Right.
You want to play your play style, but you can't in this match. Like, I didn't just because let's be honest, Jalen Hurts is the same build as Lamar, just not really.
That's just a great value version, kind of sort of.
Yeah, right. So if you want to compare it to cereal, we the multi-meal General Mills. You know what I'm saying? We the cinnamon toasties to the cinnamon toast crunch. We the marshmallow making to the Lucky Charms. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I know because I want to go downfield with Jalen Hurts. I got 3 cold ass receivers, but at the end of the day, I know Jalen Hurts. If that man not wide open or butt naked, I'm not throwing that deep ball like that. I'm not throwing that. Like, you gotta play within the abilities of the receiver, and I think that's what people are trying to learn
on the fly
from the last 2 Maddens that we played. Is you can play with a 90 throw power quarterback with a 75 deep ball, and he accurate. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Like it matters. Like you got to be water in this Madden. You have to be able to take the form of whatever situation you're in. So if you in this, you got to be able to take this form. And if you're just in the open, like, upstream, then you got to be that. But a lot of people still figuring that out.
Yeah, a lot of records are reflecting that.
Yeah. So I got you here, and we can talk about number 12.
Yeah,
Indianapolis Colts. Our good friend Evan Joyner.
Mr. Prolific himself.
Right. So look at it right here. I came away with victory in week 1. This don't count because Des was gone. But then he had a good game versus Will. We watched this game, I think, together. We watched the Colts and Titans, or we talked about it, one of the two. And we know he threw that 3 pick sixes. He threw that game away because he had that game.
Yeah. Will lost that game on his own.
Yeah. But then he rebounds.
I mean, who throws at Stephon Gilmore all game? I'm not. Like, come on.
Right. I don't know if people don't understand that. Like, you can't go
with the ball. You got Trevor Kelsey on the field. You got Miko out there. You got Juju out there. But you don't on Gilmore. Come on, man.
Like, that Chiefs game made no sense. But he won that game. And then he threw the game away, just like he earned. Like, his defense got him this game, and his offense lost in the game versus Bean. And then maybe one of the biggest upsets team-wise, it's not an upset, but user versus user-wise, it's an upset. And he beat Mark 27-17. Now, this is where I give Evan credit. Look at these numbers. He's playing within himself. Like, he's playing within the confines of the team, and a lot of people have not done that. He's done that, I would say. He's done that probably better than all, but maybe like a handful of people, regardless of his 3-2 record. He runs that ball with Taylor, knowing Taylor can't be stopped, knowing that he has one of the best offensive lines in the league. Right. And you got to do with it what you can. And a lot of people can't deal with it. So he had that 121.
Yeah. We had that conversation. Me and you had that conversation about it. Like, why is your offense not ran through Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we talk about that. Yeah,
that game with Mark shows you run your offense through Jonathan Taylor with a subpar defensive team.
Right,
you're gonna be able to do what you need to do. But
like
Jonathan Taylor, yeah.
So we saw what he did versus Mark and how he played within the team that game. But then I go to week 1 because I was there personally because I played against him, and look at this, like. Matt Ryan, 24 passes, Taylor, 12 rushes. Like, what are we doing? 5 picks as a result because shouldn't be throwing that much anyway. But go to his let's go to Taylor. Let's see what Taylor's doing.
JT got there's almost 100K. I think
it's like 103 or something like that. Look.
Yeah, I think carry wise, him and Najee Harris.
Yeah, workhorses. So let's see. Look at game by game. Okay, so he learned from week 1. Like then he started toting the rock. 25 carries, 24 carries.
Right.
17, which is he threw the game away. It should have been in the 20s again. 27, 28, and then 27 carries week 5. So it's like he knows, but he's not like it's just like when it's probably like in the sense of the game, like you get competitive, your ego get involved, and then you feel like you gotta make these plays.
He's making a strong case for it. Jonathan Taylor has to touch the ball minimum 20 times a game for him to win.
Yeah, truth be told, because we go back to it and look at Matt Ryan real quick. Start off with a 5 interception game against my defense, and let's look at it. Let's look at it in the season. So far, entering so he hasn't played this week yet. So he's 6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Half of them he threw in week 1. So okay, so you take week 1 out of the equation, and you take the let's actually go look at the game log. So take his 1 out of 5, his 1 touchdown, 5 picks out of the equation week 1. Week 2, which doesn't count because he didn't play this game, 2 touchdowns. So we take 2 touchdowns off the board. So we take 3 touchdowns and 5 picks off the board. He has 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Oh, my bad. I'm looking at that wrong. He has 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So it's like the numbers and all that shows he knows he is not winning games with Matt Ryan's arm, like not primarily.
We know that in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's following the blueprint to an extent. He just needs to lock in with it a little bit more. And I don't know who he plays Dez next. So and I'm here to tell y'all, Dez, I said last night, Dez ain't that Atlanta Falcons era, PS4 era Dez. Like
it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah,
like I said, it's gonna be a good game.
Got some weapons and all that.
This matter leans toward if you have a good sense of football and you can football, it's gonna work in your favor.
Yeah, for sure.
In this matter, Dez is a real football player. So I remember a lot of gripes from Dez was I put my defense in position to make plays and they just doing some dumb AI type shit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But yeah, look at my door, man.
Let's move on from that. That'll be a good game, though. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, let's look at this next 5 real quick. Jaguars, Titans, Twan, Ty, Nako. Out of all, these are all going to be, should all be pretty good games. If he plays within himself, there's not a game on this next 5 that he can't win. But if he doesn't, he could be on a 5-game losing streak entering week 11 when you playing. So we'll see. Let's move on. We are getting close to the top 10. Number 11. New England Patriots and Ty. Now, let me say this about Ty. He's the only player that didn't get a call on draft day because he knew where he was going, right? But in turn, at the first waiver pick, took OBJ. Smart decision. And we'll go to his schedule and we'll see why Ty is number 11 with the number 32 pick in the draft. He has elevated himself right on the cusp of top 10 play. He would have been there if one of these games on his schedule went a different way. So look at it. So we got OBJ, who isn't a superstar or X factor, but we know in terms of You look at OBJ's credentials on the game. That's a superstar level player. Still, Matthew Judon is a superstar. I think McCourty might be. Hunter, it's New England isn't a bad team. They're just a team you don't want to rebuild because all their guys are like either in their prime years or they're going out of their prime years. They have talent. It's just like they're not. It's not the exciting young talent that you would look for in a Madden franchise. That's why I ain't go there, among other reasons. But here's it may. Let's go in here. Info. Here we are. So, tough test. Oh, that's gonna be a good one. Ty versus Reggie. That's gonna be good. But if we look at this, I don't think this score was the exact score. I think Ty. I know Ty won the game, but I think he was given the force one because the stats didn't save. And hopefully, this Madden update takes care of that. I guess we'll find out sooner or later. I don't think this was like that either because Phil. Let me double check. Yeah, no, it wasn't because Ty threw hella picks versus Phil that week. So these two, we almost can't even really look at like Ty's numbers beyond a certain point. But we can look at the first 3 weeks. And he won here. That was a good win. This was a bad loss, in my opinion, because in no Madden, probably since Madden at the latest, Madden 16, what we have thought B would be Ty. But he did. Look at the numbers. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks for Matt Jones. B had 2 touchdowns, 2 picks for Pickett, which, if B's throwing 2 picks and you're giving him back, he's going to have a chance to win. Najee Harris, he did his thing running the ball, but this is a game Ty should have won. I watched a little bit of it. I saw a couple of these interceptions, and I walked away thinking, like, was that New England or was that Ty? I think Ty lost that game, if I'm being honest. But then he won here. We looked at these numbers earlier, and then this game got ugly. This is a forced win score, I believe. And this is a forced win score, but Ty won against Jose in a game that also went back and forth. So let's take the last 2 games out of it because those numbers aren't what really happened. But let's just look at what Matt Jones is doing in his second season. Now I have to log on the game and give y'all an accurate count of what the touchdown interception, the real. Oh, I can't even do it. I have to look on his YouTube and look at the games and see like what his TD interception ratio is, true touchdown interception ratio is. But we'll take these first 3 games into account. And okay, he had 5 touchdowns to 4 picks. All things considered, that's good. Like this season, with the ratios that we've seen, through 3 games, he was doing good. Now, I don't know. We'll get an accurate update on that later. But there's not much to talk about here besides Ty's a good player. Like Ty's a good user, and Ty's game, it travels. We've seen it with the Rams. We've seen it with the Ravens way back when. We've seen it with the Rams way back when, where he won championships both years with Baltimore and then the Rams. We've seen it with the Giants. He won. My bad. He didn't win with the. I think he did win both. Anyway, you saw with the Giants though, the year when he won a championship with them, his game travels, and it's traveled to New England for the most part. Like what Ty's going to do. Like he's going to figure it out. He figures it out, and every week, no matter where he is, it's a tough week to play against him, and that's where we leave it there. He's 3-2. He's leading the AFC East, and he, for all intents and purposes, he might be ahead of schedule. So you look at it, look at his next 5. Here they are. Reggie, that's gonna be a tough game because this guy's firing on all cylinders after week 1. From what I've seen, he's looking pretty good. He'll beat JT, or he should. I'll say he's favored. We'll put it that way. He's favored. He's favored probably against Nick. This game, depending on which Evan we get, could go either way. But user to user, user-wise, Ty has an advantage. Team-wise, that's Evan's advantage. And then we have Nick again after the bye week. And we just got to see how consistent Nick can be. And that'll dictate kind of how both of those week 8 and week 11 go. So we'll stay tuned in Foxborough. But good job. Good job getting right there at the cusp of the top 10 with that team that, we'd be real, nobody wanted. Now, here we go. Top 10. New page, please. Actually, I'm just do it like this. Another Mendoza. So here we go. Number 10. Now, this was hard, and this is tough. Again, this between 15 and 9 were tough. Just put it out there. But again, I factor in where you are, what you're doing with where you are. And that was the ultimate tiebreaker because this could have gone either way. And I thought about doing a number 10, but if I had to choose, I looked at the details, and for that reason, number 10, Freeform Kenny, Primetime Kenny, Cowboy Kenny. He starts off at number 10, the top 10. He starts off at number 10, second in the NFC East behind Jeremy Roman. Let's go to Dallas. Well, let's see why Kenny is number 10 and why he's not maybe a little bit higher. So we're going to break it down. Look at the star power. Look at the star power. And also, y'all know it don't stop with this because we see Zach Martin, we see Tyron Smith, we see Dak, DeMarcus Lawrence, and we see Zeke. We haven't seen Michael Parsons yet. We haven't seen Tony Pollard yet. We haven't seen Trevon Diggs yet. We haven't seen CeeDee Lamb yet. So understand what's going on here as far as their top players. The team is loaded. Once again, it's like Mark's Chargers. They're loaded. And how they fell to, I think Kenny picked the number 18, will forever be a mystery to me. But look at this, though. This cannot be just glossed over. The man's averaging 13 yards a carry. Tony Pollard, 13 yards a carry. A lot of that I think came in whatever week he played Tone. But this team is a good team. This is a top of the line Madden team. Now, is Kenny doing top of the line work? I'm gonna let you decide. I have my opinion, but here we are as we enter the 12 o'clock hour here in the West. So this is lunchtime viewing now in the West, and it's only right that we got America's team right here. So let's look at the ledger. We know this was 17-20. We know this was 17-20. Cooper Rush, right? That was what it was. This Cooper Rush game again, but let's go to it. This is what you do when you have a quarterback that cannot throw the ball, right? When you have your backup quarterback, you rely on guys like Tony Pollard, like your Zeke Elliott's, and your defense. And he played this game to a T as far as the circumstances that were given. He went 1-1 with Dak's absence, and now we're set up for a big-time Week 6 game, a game that we're trying to we're all, Kenny, myself, Jeremy, we're all trying to work and like make it to where we can have Madden Cast viewing because that's going to be a good one. And I can't miss it. Can't miss that game. But let's go to these three. Week 1. Now, I understand. You come fresh off a plane and you play, things happen. But 52? I mean, granted, Mikey was ready. Mikey was, this is a game he probably had circled on his schedule because Kenny beat Mikey pretty bad in Madden 21. So I'm sure Mikey, I know Mikey was ready. I know he was ready. But 52? 52. I mean, I get it. Probably jet lag, came off the plane, played late, but You took the terms of that game. I mean, but also it was the last night of advance and the advance extended. So shout out to the commissioners for allowing this game to have been played. But when you step on that field, you got to show up. However the chips fall, you got to show up, and it didn't really happen week one. So we go back at it. Now he rebounded, right? Daryl, week two, 49-0. This is where the eyes started to come on Kenny a little bit. I don't remember the exact details of the game, but I know there were a lot of interceptions, and clearly it was a one-sided affair. Then let's go to this. Once again, 61-7. 49-0 and then 61-7. Is that Kenny's fault? Not necessarily, but again, and I said this to him after this game, like the heat is on because you got to know, like you have to know certain players are going to generate more attention than others, and you just got to know like when the spotlight's on you, so don't make it even more glaring by the touchdowns in the second half and all that. Like, but you see, that was a massacre. And it got Dak suspended because look at this. Every completion went for a touchdown. Right? I mean, which is not necessarily Kenny's fault, but at the same time, you got to know when to reel it in. So there's that. We look at Dak's stats real quick, and then we'll go to, well, we won't need to go to Cooper Rush because all of his stats are accounted for so far. So here we go. Dak, to this point, because he hasn't played the last two games. So here we are. 2 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and then 0. So Dak is at 10-5, right? He's at 10-5. And no need to count these because he didn't play. So, what we saw for ourselves in the Rams game with even though Cooper Rush was playing, this is like something that is, I think, like the rain cloud over Kenny's head. Like Kenny puts up number wise, it looks okay, right? It looks like okay, he's passing the ball well. His touchdown interception ratio is pretty decent. But when you look at it in game, he was up 17-0 for his turn, right? At which point with the backup. And we can't say that Dallas lost because of Cooper Rush because he just beat Twan with Cooper Rush. So, so it's like, which one is it? But you're up 17-0, and at that point, you need to be running the ball, and you have the horses to do it. Hearn comes back, scores 20 straight to win that game. Couple interceptions, but you got to understand that's the LA Rams, and that's what Jalen Ramsey is going to do. Aaron Donald going to pressure Cooper Kupp, and it's like, all right, yeah, it's Cooper. I mean, pressure Cooper Rush, and it's like, yeah, it's Cooper Rush, but at the same time, past actions lead to present outcomes. And that's where I leave it because he's 3-2 with Dallas. But the next team I talk about is 3-2 also. And Kenny's a game back in his division because of the Philadelphia Eagles. This team is tied for a division lead at 3-2. The next thing that we're going to get into right now. And that next team, I know them pretty well. And that'll be myself with the Houston Texans. Now, why? Now, before we even get into it, talk about myself here. Y'all seen the day after, YouTube videos, and you've seen the press conferences and all that. So I'm trying to. The goal is to give you a game by game progression of how this team is going and where we're going. Why would I say number 9? I will show you. Let's go to the H-Town. Let's stay in Texas. Let's go to the other side, the other conference, right? Let's look. Let's critique my games thus far. Let's critique my body of work, right? I always say the tape shows all, and it does. The tape is out there. So here we are. Look at the top players. Look at the top players. Now, understand. Brandon Cooks is 88 overall, right? Fair enough. Steve Nelson is a veteran at 80 overall. That's my second best player by attribute rating. Desmond King, same thing. I like Desmond King personally more than Steve Nelson. But be as it may, 79 overall. Jerry Hughes is a veteran. He don't play much because I got 6 rookies on my defense. And I got to build this team, right? So Jerry Hughes is there strictly because he's a mentor at this point. Had he not been, I probably would have cut Jerry Hughes. I mean, he's still decent. He's okay. But when he's your 4th best rated player, and then Janoris Jenkins, a guy who's just filling a roster spot because he's a mentor. I got Derek Stingley. I got Blackwell, right? I got guys at corner that I need to build up, and I need to build them up quickly because this schedule's not getting any easier. It was hard to begin with when I took this challenge to take on the Houston Texans and build them into a winner. But let it be told, these ain't Bill O'Brien's Houston Texans. This ain't Romeo Crennel's Houston Texans. It's me. It's me. And the work I put in is the work I put in. And every week, we led every single game. We're going to get to the games in a second, but look at this. Best player on the line, 77. But I take responsibility. I traded Laremy Tunsil knowing that this would be a state of my line. But still, Donovan Smith is playing solid. I mean, I'm not missing Laremy Tunsil. Donovan Smith at 11 points lower overall-wise is playing great football for me on the left side, anchoring that left side, Cam Newton's blind spot. And I got a first-round pick in return, so we have 3 now, right? Now, peel the curtain back a little bit. Have we tried to parlay these draft picks into an impact player, i.e. a superstar and or X factor? Yes, we have. Have we been successful? No, we have not. So we will stand pat. And we will continue with the process as it is. But Stingley's here, Camus, like it's we're not winning off of the ratings. I'm gonna tell you that. Let's go to the schedule. But hold on, before I go, why am I number 9? I can support everything I say on this show. Now we just got bumped up to a 75 overall. We were 74 last week, but we were victorious, and the upgrades helped us get to 75. So look at this. Come on now. Are we not working? Look at this now. I'm Houston, y'all. I'm Houston. That's with Jonathan Taylor one time. I haven't played Derrick Henry yet, but understand, I got Derrick Henry twice on my schedule, and I got Jonathan Taylor twice on my schedule. We're going to see how this holds up. We're only 5 weeks in. But look at the body of work. Now let's go into it a little bit more. And this is what it is too, right? 27th offense, ranking-wise. But we're putting up, points at a decent rate. The only game we weren't in the 30s was versus Mark and the Chargers in week 4. It's the only time. Otherwise, we had 31, 30 on the dot, I believe, and 31 again. But I got so much to try to remember. Let me take a load off of myself we'll just go to this discussion. And sure enough, there it is. 31, 30, and 31. Solid 30. We're having 30 points. Houston, y'all. Houston. If you don't believe me, let's look into what we're doing. Now, it has been said, and it is true. Why are we the number 1 ranked defense right now? Because of this game right here. But let's go into it. I'm gonna show you what we're doing, what we're building out here. 6 rookies on defense. Let me remind you. So you look at it. Now look at this now. Y'all, you look in the chat and might ask, what does BSS mean? What is BSS? It's blood, sweat, and skills, baby. That's it. And the skills have to come to the forefront when dealing with a team like this. My Cam Newton, it's my guy. He's a 67 overall. Now I'm gonna show you why I'm number 9. I'm gonna further my case. Y'all can debate it, but just know I have my reasons as to why I'm number 9. And I gotta hurry up because I got about a good 30, 35 minutes left. So let's go into this real quick. I'm gonna show you. We allowed. You look at this. This how many passing yards we allowed week 3. You know, granted you say it's the Bears, but I'm like, hey, I didn't make the schedule. I was pick number 29. I took whatever came with this challenge of taking on Houston. We still got to play the games. 34 rushing yards allowed. That's a double nickel, y'all. In Chicago, 55 yards, double nickel. Now I ain't talking Jordan, right? So, I mean, let's be honest now. How often is that happening? Even when there's a quote unquote user disparity, user versus user, like are y'all still holding an opponent to 55 yards? Stop me when I start making sense. It's H-Town. Hook them. Now let's keep going though. Let's delve into it some more. I showed you the number 1 ranked defense as a team. Now I'm gonna show you something else. You know, y'all know of Cam Newton, the accuracy issues that are. Let's call it what it is. Now, did I sign up for that? Yes, I did. Was he my waiver pick? Yes, he was. Why? Because Davis Mills, again, as I said last night, Davis Mills would not survive behind this offensive line. Simple and plain. You've seen Randy Gregory get 4 sacks against us in one game. You've seen Khalil Mack get 3 sacks against us in one game. You saw before I made the in-game switch and stabilized my line, you saw what Josh Allen, defensive Jaguars Josh Allen, was doing against Titus Howard, who is now no longer my starting right tackle. And the only reason I haven't cut him is because there's not a replacement out there that would be suitable to do so right now. But look at this. Let's look again. Look at it. I promise I can't make this up, y'all. You see 80 short. 80 short. 77 medium, 76 deep. Now, this don't matter because we ain't got the weaponry to really stretch the field right now anyway. But I'm going to show you. Let's go to the game log. If I can do this with the worst offensive line in the league, perhaps the worst set of weapons in the league, and quarterback who, you know, it's not like Sam Howell, where Sam Howell is 67, but he's 21 years old. Sam Howell has room to grow. Cam Newton at this point is what he is. And I got to extract every bit of high level play that he has left to get to this point. But look at this. So here we are. 2, 3, 1, 1, 3 touchdowns. Interceptions. Now this is high for my liking. I'm not satisfied. I'm not even impressed with what I'm doing, but I'm showing you the bigger picture. I've thrown no more than 2 picks in a game, right? 1 pick, which was on the very first offensive play of the season for me. I knew better, and I shouldn't have thrown it. It's my fault. This pick, Mark made Mark was in position, and I made a stupid error knowing I shouldn't have done it because I knew he was going to be in position. This one right here. I think it was, again, like over the middle of the field. I knew JT was going to be there. He made a good play. This one here, I had to force it late. JC Jackson got one when I was just, trying to basically make a last-ditch effort. And the other one was a good pick by Mark as well. And then these 2 right here, the pressure. Again, like that pressure has dictated some of these interceptions. But be as it may, I have not had a game where I've thrown 0 picks yet. But look at this, 10-7, right? Cool. 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. And you couple it with the rushing yardage, the rushing touchdowns. So we're looking at 12 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, right? But let's take the rushing out of it. Let's take those plays out of it. Let's look at the league at large and compare Cam Newton to the rest of the league. Let's compare what I'm doing with my situation to what y'all doing with y'all situation. And you'll see why I have myself ranked as number 9, which I think is fair. Interceptions. Let's look at them. 23, 20. This is not including week 6, what has been played in week 6. 23, 23, 22, 21, 21, 20, 17, 14, 14, 13, 12, 12. You see, do you see what I'm saying? You have to go to, well, they don't even show Cam on here. Oh, okay, he's right here. So right here, right? I mean, look, there's not many people. You have Dak, at 10-5, we know that 11-6 is not entirely valid, but 10-5, you have Kerm, Matthew Stafford. He's playing within himself. He's playing good football, right? You have Phil with Aaron Rodgers. Jameis Winston somewhere on here, like 15-8. There he is, right? And then you have Mikey 14-9. But look at those teams: Tampa, Los Angeles, Dallas, right? Green Bay, okay? Green Bay, New Orleans, and look at Houston. And you tell me, compared to the rest of, if I'm in that company with those quarterbacks and those teams and those users with those teams, let's flip it. Let's go to the touchdowns. 15 here, 14 there, 12 here, 10 with that. Hello. And I'm just getting the 60% completion rate. I'm figuring this out on the fly. I need y'all to step it up because you say what you want, but know this: everything in Houston's been earned. And we've led in every game, and we've played teams that have been above our head, and we right there with them. So what happens when we get better? You tell me. I think I know, but I'm gonna leave it there because it hasn't happened yet. All right, I gotta get a move on. Number 8, a gentleman who has done his thing thus far. He has not taken a single user versus user loss thus far, and that's come with the LA Rams. So the chips and salsa guys, I ain't got nothing to cover right now. He's playing good football. Now you can say, "Oh, he got the," and it's true. He has a good team. That team fell to him. He picked number 22. Nobody from 1 to 21 took him. So who was he not to take the Rams? And I mean, these numbers are a little skewed, but let's look to the schedule. Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about what we know. I mean, he throttled Manny week 1. He throttled Greg week 2. This this doesn't count for anything because he was on vacation. He throttled Edgar week 4, as he should have. This game, as he should have. This game came as a bit of a surprise because you saw, I'm going to just say me, I thought these guys were ready, and they weren't. Okay, let's look real quick in case you need a reminder. Boom, 6 interceptions. I mean, I've been clamoring for an elite quarterback week by week by week. I've made offers for good quarterbacks. I won't disclose who, but I did as recently as yesterday. It got denied, and I understand it. But I look at it like if I had one of these guys, 10-7 wouldn't even be 10-7 would be unacceptable as far as my touchdown interception rate. But we're not talking about me anymore. We're on to Los Angeles, and we know this was 17-20, and now we have a test here, right? But no McCaffrey, but that's not Kerm's fault. Again, guys, we still got to go out and play the games, right? I don't need to express much here about the Rams because Kerm's been talked about all season. He's been talked about before the season, even on this show. And like I said, if he or if anybody comes out and plays and exceeds the level of expectation or their history, I'd be the first one to say it. Now, it's only 5 games, and he knows that. He said he's focused on week 6, and I believe him. He's locked in. But we've talked about the season. I know who he has on the list. I know what he's looking to do. And everything that he said he's going to do thus far, he's done it. He's come back after the games and said, this game, for example, these two, the Falcons game and the 49ers game, he's come back and said, I played poor. I'm not happy with those victories. I need to be better. And I respect it. And I'm going to leave it there because he got a big game against Carolina. And that's one of the games of the week, along with Dallas and Philly, in my opinion. But at the time, we're going to keep it moving. Number 7. Right? Fellow ET alien. Phil in Green Bay. Quiet as kept. Quiet as kept. It's the quiet storm up there in the Midwest. Phil, let's go to it. Phil, I mean, he's doing what he always does, right? He's doing what he always does. Y'all know he runs the ball. And traditionally, if he has had to pass the ball, he's in trouble. But look at this. I mean, it's a little skewed because he had one forced one or one sim in there, but it's not to be denied. I mean, we just saw Aaron Rodgers' touchdown interception rate, and we'll look at it again in a moment, but he's running the ball. I mean, he has to do the work. He still has to do the work. Even with the good team, you got to do the work. In a bad division, you still have to put forth the effort to win. Now, this game we don't take into account, but he probably would have beat. I figured he would have beat JT, but that's a sim, so we don't look at those stats. This one he beat Ty pretty good, and this is a forced win score, I believe. And then you had this, and then you had this also, but then you had this too. So it's like, okay, you do what you have to do, right? You do what you have to do. He's throttling the opposition when he's supposed to. Let's just look real quick. 54-7. But this is what I mean with Aaron Rodgers. Oh well, that's actually not that good. That's not the game I was looking for because he put Jordan Love in for context. But even this one, we go to this one. I mean, we said it before. He doesn't really want to throw more than 12 times. If you don't make him, whose fault is that? Him or his opponent. So that's where I'm at with it. And we keep it simple as that. He's getting turnovers, but no, we need to go back though, because if there's something, he's 4-1, right? That's why he's ahead of all the 3-2 teams, okay? But you look at this, and now this is the question, right? This is the overlying question. What will you do against the elite teams? What will you do? I'm talking the Mikeys, Tampa Bay. I'm talking to Jesus, Carolina. I'm talking to Chris, New Orleans. I'm talking to Jeremy Rones, Philadelphia. I want to see it against Kenny Cowboys. I want to see it against even Jose Lions. Is Jose going to surrender that division that easily? Now, granted, we know what Madden did to him, but he hasn't played Green Bay yet. There's still time for him to win that division. We'll see if Phil can keep it up. But here's my question. When you make him make mistakes, when this happens, forget this, because by the time this happened, the game was over. Okay? Let's finish. When this happens, how do you rebound? How do you make up for that? How do you persevere and win a game? Because when you're going up against stuff like this, and couple it with that, nobody's really going to be in a position to win. So I like what I've seen from Green Bay. He made Ty look below average that other week when they played. But I need to see more. I need to see more. And right now, I think 7 is a fair ranking, because if we're talking about the teams that have one loss or no losses, I would place him probably at like the lower realm of those teams that are like, okay, these are good ball clubs. These are good ball clubs. But real quick, Aaron Rodgers, I said I'd show you the game log, and we can't count that one, and this one we can't count either. But a touchdown here, 4 here, and 2 there, 7, and then we have 4 picks here, none anywhere else. So I mean, 7-4, 10-7, like same thing, kind of sort of. All right, moving on quickly. Come on, quickly. Resume thing out the way. There we go. All right, moving on quickly. Number 6. Who is the last non-top 5 team right now? It's a good pal of mine. Mark. Now, Mark would have been in my top 5 had he not lost that game to Evan. But truth be told, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Evan kind of outworked him. He was the better player that day, and it just is what it is. It happens, right? But we go and look at Mark's schedule real quick. Let's see what he's doing. Okay, so he has guys, like Justin Simmons, obviously that's a superstar, I believe. Wilson is Wilson. Got a great Madden wide receiver trio. I think they're all stars too. Well, him and Judy at least. Pastor Tan superstar. Bradley Chubb isn't even here, but he's right here, and that's a good rusher too. So Demarcus Lawrence, not Demarcus Lawrence. Randy Gregory is somewhere on here also. That's what I meant to say. Had 4 sacks against me, not Demarcus Lawrence. Randy Gregory. So he has a good team. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, so forth, so on. And he's doing what he should be doing. I tabbed him to win that division. He's leading the division, and he's doing it in a relatively impressive fashion. He did what he had to do here against he won that game, and he dominated that game. We were in lockstep with Mark. If you go back and look at week 2, we were up a lot of that first half. But again, as good teams, good users do, we had to fumble with Cooks on the receiver play, and Mark Dixon scores, and that good team had the momentum. Didn't look back. We held close, but he was several plays better than us that day. I don't think that's real. I think it was forced win. This is forced win also, but y'all saw that game in real time, so you know what happened. And then he got outclassed. We look at this again real quick and look at the disparity. 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Most people be in trouble when that happens. And then couple that with that and the fake punt, whatever happened with that. I know you say it didn't happen on purpose, but it's a lot when you got those errors stacked on top of each other. It happens. So real quick, I'm gonna go to his schedule. I'm running low on time. I'm gonna jump into something I'm gonna wear to work and then get to work. So real quick, 4-1 though, leading the division. Next 5, big game here. I want to see from both sides. I want to see on both sides how this division rivalry is going to go. But you got Chargers, Jets, Jaguars with Dez, Bean with the Titans, and then they go again with the Raiders. So, and then you look a little down the line, you got Jesus Panthers, Flash. So, this is a good. And then week 15, but we nowhere near there yet. So he has a good slate in front of him, but he's a good team, and he's number 6 right now. All right, top 5. We're just going to reveal them all at one time. We'll talk about them, but I'm going to type them out at one time. Number 5, Mr. Youngblood, El Jefe, YB. Boom, it's top 5. Reggie. Number 4, my good pal, Mikey, running operations in Tampa Bay. 3, Pablo for himself. Chris is back home with the Saints, and he is taking advantage of that blessing, to say the least. And 2, gotta put the undefeateds up there, right? Jesus, in my stomping grounds in Carolina. And number 1, it only leaves 1, Mr. Rome. There you have it, right? There you have it. So look at this. Let's talk about the top 5 at large real quick. Reggie has the highest rating of the AFC teams. I told you coming into the season that Reggie was the AFC favorite, and I don't think there was any opposition generally in that belief. I won't get into his stats too much because a lot of those are skewed by forced wins and restarts and things of that nature, but I can show you what he has done with the team or the games that have registered. And I've seen him play every single game. I've seen a game against Nick. I've seen a game against B. I saw a little bit against Jesus in both sessions. And then I saw the Chargers game versus Mark the other day. And I think I saw him play Pittsburgh a little bit too. I tuned out early because that was a blowout. But look at it. So we know that that's not this. And we're not going to look at Deshaun Watson either because his stats have been skewed. And we know that touchdown interception ratio is not real. So This, that was what it was. Jesus, give him credit. This score was a forced win score, but give Jesus credit. He came out and he did what he had to do that week, and that's why he's number two, partially because he's playing some great football. Let's call it what it is. Playing great football. This also was not close because that was like 43-3, if I'm not mistaken. This game, him versus Nick. B versus Reggie. This one registered. This one did not. This is a forced win score. I think this was 38-3. All right. And then we had the game where Mark could have won this game, right? There were chances, there were opportunities, but Reggie surged in that fourth quarter and we got what we got. But just for a glimpse of what he's doing. Let's go here. Is this? Maybe. We see 8 interceptions. And this isn't an indication, a great indication of what he's doing with Deshaun, but that's not a good quarterback game for him. But 8 picks, you're not losing much. You're not losing anything. You should not lose anything when you get 8 picks. And it was an ugly beatdown that week. This game was ugly too, but Falcons to be expected. Reggie's a great player, great team. That's going to happen. But you look at it here, and we're just seeing what he does. And again, like now, are the picks even in the games that have registered for him? Are the picks a little high? Yeah, but that's this Madden. The corners and safeties have to be so aggressive because of the offensive capabilities on this game. So it's a balance in that. But look at like, and as Mark said, right? Mark said, the game is sponsored by 4 verticals, but it's like Reggie's a player where you do what he's going to do based off of what you show, right? So he knows these coverages. He knows all those things. So it's like if he sees that single high, I'm using his words, we're going to attack his seams and test 1 versus 1, right? And he did that. And Cooper had a game. And he had Cooper. This ain't the first big game Amari Cooper's had. Like he going to do everything. You come out in that coverage, he's doing everything to attack it, and it's simple and plain. And for time, that's from Oliva, but he's firing on all cylinders right now. And these scores don't show you because some of them are skewed from forced wins and things of that nature. But go back and watch the tape. The tape don't lie. I promise it don't lie. Mikey, number 4. Tampa Bay. Again, what you have here outside of, I say for most of the good teams, they're doing what they got to do. Like Mikey is, in the games I've seen him. I mean, look at this stuff. I mean, come on, like anything less than 4-1 would be a disappointment. But again, you still got to play the games. But he's loaded in Tampa Bay. Let's call it what it is, right? But he's good too, right? He's a good player also. So it's both of those things contributing to this. For example, boom, right here. But then we had this right here. So now I got questions. The same question I had with Phil, I got with Mike. I'm like, what you going to do when teams like New Orleans, and you in the hottest division in the league right now, you got what? Undefeated and 2 4-1s. Do y'all understand? Mikey is in 3rd place in the NFC South because of a 4-1 with a 4-1 record. 3rd. When you do tiebreakers and all that South is real. I'm here to tell you, South is real, but Chris played out of his mind, right? Now, Jameis, we'll get to Chris in a second, but look at that. I mean, look at that. Like, are you losing much when you play at that level? Conversely, you got 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. I mean, yes, granted, you average over 10 yards a carry with your running back, but this compared to that, you're going to be on the bottom end of the seesaw if that happens. But and he'll see Chris again, right? He rebounded. We saw this game earlier. We don't need to go back and look at it. We saw he did his thing. This was tough though. This game versus Will. Like, what are we doing? Like, we need to be locked in all 17 games of the season. And then he was in this game versus Greg, which we'll just take a quick look at. It's not much to look at. But, I mean, Workman-like 42-0, easy type of deal. You get in and you get out. You win the game and you get out. So we'll see. I mean, and he played B last night, so he's 5-1. So I meant to say he was 4-1 in third place entering week 6, and now pending what happens, he could be in first place. So we'll see. But week 7, we're ready. Got my eyes on it already. I want to see that. I want to see this next 3. And really, I want to say next 6 because this game is self-explanatory. Another test for Jesus, and it's a test for Mikey too. Let's not get it twisted. Jesus playing some good football. All right, we're gonna talk about him in a second. But that's gonna be a big game, and that game means a lot. This game right here, Flash. What you gonna do, Mikey? How you gonna act? Then we got it here, Kern, biggest checkpoint of the season. Simple and plain. Mikey, don't get got. Don't get got. He's knocked off some good teams already. Don't be the next, right? And then this is going to be a tricky one. We talk about Daryl and the Bengals. See if Caesar's on. There could be problems. We'll have to see if it happens, but schematically, I'm looking at it from that standpoint. What will Caesar have in store for that defense? And furthermore, can he just withstand the onslaught that Tampa Bay has on both ends of offense and defense? And then we have Reggie, right? Again, how both teams going to act? It's a good defense that Deshaun Watson's facing. Can they force him into 3+ interceptions like other teams have? Remains to be seen. And how is Mikey advanced enough as a user? We know he's good. He's good, right? He's good. This game, week 12, I want to see how great he is. I want to see it. Saints week 13, it's a gut check game. You at home, Saints beat you bad. Week 2, you got to get that lick back. And it's plain and simple. The 3 teams from the NFC South are, comprise the top 5 of the rankings. Like, boom, Bucks, Saints, Panthers. Chris, it's been a long time since Chris been in New Orleans with the team, and you can kind of just tell, you can see that the hometown, like when you're with your squad, it matters greatly. It matters greatly. Like it's just like that extra that goes into what you do out there. And look at the, I mean, these guys are loaded. Also, let's not forget, these guys are loaded, and I mean he's 4-1, and now, granted, Jameis Winston has come back to earth a little bit, but y'all know how he started. He had 2 incompletions throughout his first 2 weeks of the season. Now, granted, you say 1 week is against the Falcons, got to play the game, right? Still, 1 incompletion this week, and then 1 in week 2 is wild. It's wild. It's absolutely crazy. He dominated, as he was probably expected to do. This game, finishing. I put the whole list. I'm gonna throw the list in the chat. I'm gonna be on probably like maybe 5 minutes or so. But
listen, I'm gonna need you to stop disrespecting Kerm.
What you mean?
Hey, he's not 8. He's like 4.
When I look back at it, I could see. I couldn't put him higher than 7, and maybe I could have put him 7, but I look at it. Reggie's playing better, I think, because Reggie's blowing out his opponents. Like Kerm is beating his opponents, but Reggie's blowing his opponents out. Mark,
but see, Kerm is showing you that he could blow the opponents out and come back.
True. Like he's answering a lot of questions. Now, where he started on the rankings, and just in my head, he was probably somewhere around like, I'd say middle of the pack, like 17, 18, somewhere around there. And that might have been high, considering like we hadn't seen him in Nike talk do the things he was doing in the other leagues. But when he had the team, I was like, okay, I know he's going to elevate a little bit because of the team, but then it's like he still has to, he got to go out there and play too. But I think his jump has been pretty good. But in the initial room, because it's only 5 weeks in, but
all right, who are the 2 players ahead of him?
The players ahead of Kerm?
Yeah.
The players I had ahead of him, I have in this order from 7 to 1, Phil, Mark, Reggie. Phil's debatable. I'll say that. But I had Phil,
Hey,
Mark,
Kerm is
Reggie.
better than Mark.
Hmm?
Kerm is better than Mark.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think you put Rams and Broncos in the same field right now, Mark gonna find a way to win.
Nah, dog.
You know what I think?
Mark just lost to Evan.
True. That's fair.
Hey, all right. But see, here's the thing. Kerm is undefeated.
Yes, technically he is. He is. And
So he should be ahead of Mark.
he had a better team though. Like he had the champs. I think Mark is doing he's playing at roughly the all right, so Kerm is undefeated. Mark lost once, but
All right. So what does Kerm have to do to be top 5?
oh, he don't have to do much. He just got to keep doing what he's doing because only people that's in front of him, only people in this wave top 5 is Phil, Mark, Reggie. Now with Mikey, Chris, and Jesus number 4, 3, and 2, they're on the same division. Somebody's gonna cancel out. That's gonna free up a spot immediately.
Hold on, let me go see something.
If Kerm, I put like this. Next time we do these power rankings, probably like week 12 around there. Kerm will have played Mays by then. I need between now and then, I need to see he got the head start, right? With the division league. Can he keep it? If he can keep it, and if he wins week 10 specifically, then that's the jump that's needed. But I had to where Evan beat Mark, Kenny didn't have Dak, right? Now, granted, Kerm came back from 17-0 regardless, but if Kenny had Dak, how does that go? So I still have questions. I have questions about everybody on this list, but
all right.
He's playing good though. I give him he's playing really good football. So I'm just looking at Chris's schedule real quick. He's done this was
Kerm just said he plays 2 through 7 except for Reggie.
Yeah, see, exactly. So he got number 2 this week. So it's like it's all in front of him. It's up to him now.
All right, so that means basically he beats all them niggas. You got to put him at number 1.
Absolutely. If he beats all those guys, because I'm telling you right now, if he wins all his games, if Jeremy loses before Kerm loses, Kerm might shoot number 1. If he wins all those games, I'll have no choice. I'll have no choice but to put him number 1.
All right, because you know what it is? It's like we're so used to him losing,
right?
That him winning is like foreign to us. Shit don't make no sense.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It's different, right? It's Sprite remix.
Right.
And then I also have to because I know also in the chat it's like when he beat you, it's going crazy, and I'm like
chat was going crazy for a number of reasons because I do talk a lot and people want to see me lose, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
But I'm also okay with him. I'm okay with the balance in the league. Like we didn't see how Reggie the first game went because the shit disconnected. But if it would have actually played out with no disconnection and Jesus beats him, I'm happy it happens because it's like a shift in the league. Absolutely. Same thing with Mays. Mm-hmm. Like we all expect Mays to win, but as a matter of fact, where did you rank Mays?
Mays 22.
How'd he get 22?
He got 22 because in my mind, he started, I'm gonna say just off the top of my head, he was in the top 5 of if I had a preseason ranking, he would have been in the top 5. He was my NFC favorite, and he lost to Will by multiple possessions. He lost to Nako, close. Now we know a miracle happened for that game against Jeremy to not go in his favor, but Jeremy still went overtime and won. And then he lost versus somebody else. I forgot who it was. Jesus. Yeah, he lost versus Jesus. So I'm like, he could have won that, but the fact of his only win by these rankings, he hadn't had a usual win. He got it last night, but he had a win, and the expectation, I couldn't put him but so high because he hadn't had a win yet.
Man, I think he gets 25, man. He won versus C's yesterday, whatever, but
right,
he should definitely be 25 or lower. He should be down here with me in the bleachers.
But the difference between 22 and where you're at 27, you just threw those games away. I don't even. I'm
No,
looking
no,
at.
I threw him away. True, but see, that's the thing. I threw him away. No, I didn't throw it. I'm not gonna say that. Kerm beat me.
Right,
And
right,
I
right.
think a lot of people don't even want to admit shit in the league, you included, because I've been listening to this shit. And what you'll do is you'll talk about how you lost the game. You want to talk about how they beat you.
Oh no, I give my credit. Like I said, I get into the context of my stuff in the press conferences. Like for example,
Okay, all right,
when
got it.
yeah, like I kind of say it for that because I don't want to be talking about me throughout the whole power rankings.
Got it.
But mhm.
But yeah, if he doesn't beat CC yesterday, where does he rank then? And
Oh
I know
yeah,
this is gonna be for like weeks from now, but
right. If he didn't win that, he would have gone lower. I don't know how much lower, given that like none of week 6 had really played out, but it would have been lower than 22 if I had done the rankings like Sunday compared to yesterday. He'd have been lower if he had lost that game.
all right.
Yeah, it's more of like it's still so fluid. Like there's not much difference between 15 and 9, for example. There's not much difference between like 8 and 5, or even 27 through 21,
So,
22.
so because based on what you've been saying, what I get from this whole thing is
Mm-hmm.
the teams do play a factor. So if somebody has a trash team and they're doing okay, they get pushed up a little bit higher than somebody who has a great team and they're doing bad. They get pushed way lower.
Correct.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and that's probably why, like, I put Kerm up as high as I could, knowing that he has the Rams, the Super Bowl champs, and it's like to an extent, and the offseason he's been playing. I'm like, this is what you should be doing, but now we need to see it against this schedule coming up. So everybody, it's like a checkpoint for everybody, more or less. But it's all subject to change based on what everybody does on the field. So it's hard. It's hard doing these though. Like I was looking and I did it in an hour, but I was thinking about it for weeks. I was like, I had so many scratches. I had so many scratches on this paper, and it's just like it's hard.
I mean, how many let me go look at the rankings. So I want to know how many teams have more than a 2-game win versus loss.
I can tell you. So this is the cutoff for like these teams here are more than two games up on the in their win-loss records. These guys right here are your 3-2s, those types. There's 3-2s. Bean is a 3-2, but Bean had the shutout loss to number 32 in Tone at the time, which looked crazy because Tone had 115 points dropped on him in 2 games. So I was like, I put Will here because Will had nearly defeated Mikey and had his chances, but Will is also kind of not like doing maybe what he should be doing with Kansas City. So it was so much to factor in, and I wrote none of it down. I tried just keeping it all like in mentally, but there's a tier system to it because then you have like Beans 3-2, and then these guys are like the 2. I couldn't put Daz down, but so far he's really like a 500 team. So you have like these 2-3, 2-4 teams. You have Mays like this outlier that is like, user wise like 1-4 now. Jose, I couldn't really do much with because of what Madden did to him, and then you have a lot of like the interceptions and stuff going all the way back up the year, and I had to kind of like rank it based on situations, pretty much. But yeah, I'm gonna try to come back on probably. This is the list, everybody. Like this is what it is. Will y'all know about the Eagles? I don't need to go too much into Philly. Carolina's playing great football, real quick. I need to get Jesus do. He's playing good football. Like, just look at the. I mean, this don't factor that in, but look at these games right here. But even I have questions.
I also feel like a lot of times the final score doesn't reflect
the
actual gameplay.
True.
Because for example, last night, if Brandon wins that game because Jake decides to throw that pick, and he wins the game, like Brandon wins the game. Yeah, on the paper it looks like he won the game, but he struggled.
Right.
No, he didn't struggle. It was just a shootout.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then you look at it like that win is, I mean, it's like, so Jix wins, right? And he's number 30 coming into the week. So it's like, boom, you beat the number, according to these rankings, the number 14 team. But it's like, still, the journey, if you had beat him with more style points, like you probably should have, based on all the turnovers, that win would have elevated him probably higher than what it's going to by the time we
He
get
brought
to
the hammer out.
Yeah, he did though. I mean, it was vintage Jix for better and for worse. And him being in the chat or the Zoom was just like the icing on the cake. It was a good game. Oh, well, it wasn't good in terms of like it was good for us. We were watching, but for them, it wasn't really good either side because both had their chances, especially Jix, to run away with it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it is funny when Brandon loses, he disappears from the chat.
Man, I know he was because that's how it was when Ty beat him, right? And we were like,
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
yeah, because we were like, what, what happened? But yeah, like I know he was pissed last night.
It was funny when he kind of went at Kerm. Well, Kerm told him what he told him. Then
yeah,
he like reacted to that shit. You should have a segment called Kerm's Corner, so you come in and help out all the losers.
Yo, we should do that. Hey, Kerm, I know you're trying to stay focused on the field, but as we close out, if you want to come on and just dissect why these guys aren't winning or doing what they should be doing, you undefeated. Anybody beat you. Your only loss is a sim loss. You got is free reign to talk about this is anybody. So the floor is open. You're always welcome. Back to Jesus for a quick second before I gotta jump out of here. He's 5-0, but he was down 21-14 against Edgar. This game was in the balance, and this game probably should have. All the Saints got to do is have a defender catch the ball, and that's over. So we got questions in Carolina, but the reason why Jeremy Roan is number one is because the least amount of questions right now. Philadelphia has the least amount of questions. They're the best, probably one of the best teams. Well, not probably. They are one of the best teams in the game, so that elevates him. But he's doing what he got to do, and we're looking at all these. If had he lost to Mays, like some would say he probably should have at that juncture in the game, he probably would have fell to 3. Like the fall wouldn't have been great because both teams were going back and forth. That game would have probably brought Mays up a little high. Well, it definitely would have brought Mays up higher, but he would have. But I've always been on the Mays train too. Like,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So prior to the Jeremy game, where was Mays ranked?
Prior to that, he was let me look at this. So I'm looking at Eagles, not Cardinal schedule. Mays hadn't won, but I picked him to win that game. No, I picked Jeremy to win, but I knew it was gonna be close. I would have said Mays probably would have been like 23, 24. Like if
prior to that game.
Yeah, somewhere around there if I had to like just go off the top of my head.
All right, see, this is what I'm talking about. So let's say I beat B.
Right.
B had one game over me. I beat B. I hadn't won anything. Mays should have been below me.
Well, in my opinion, no, because I mean I see what you're saying because like Mays has like a higher expectation than you would, but
not even higher expectation. He didn't win a game.
Right, he hadn't won a game, but the way his losses compared to your losses were
okay. I give you that.
Yeah, like that's where that differentiation came in. That's why you were 2 spots lower than Twan because though y'all have the same record.
And Twan was playing good. It's just
Right, and I had to factor in how he started versus Dez before that restart happened. So I had to account for that too. It was so much that went into it, and I wrote none of it down. I was just like, all right. I remember most of everything, and I've been able, like the advances help with like watching the game, so I kind of remember it. And then I've been talking trash to Twan, so I had to, of course, do my research on that. But that's what it is for the most part. Yeah, Jeremy has the least amount of questions right now of anybody in the league, even though he got a gift, but he did his thing in overtime, so I'll leave that one there. I gotta like legit jump out and go to work now.
Oh yeah, no, you good. You good. I'm gonna get off too.
Oh yeah, all good. Yeah. Hey, thanks for jumping in though. Hold me accountable. Everybody else feel free to do the same. And these are the rankings one more time. I'll put this out officially in a little bit, but there you have it. From 32 in the Giants all the way to number 1 in the Eagles. Everybody in between, you got work to do. So yeah, not much more to say on this side. And all we can do is play the games and get better. Next power rankings probably be week 11, week 12, and then we'll go into the end of the season, pre-playoff, and we'll kick it from there. So all right, y'all. All right, man. I'll holler at you.